Make it a habit of always believing in what you're doing, and no matter what, whether your sales are going up, sales are going down, just make it a habit of just stay positive. I'm sure that when you are yourself, people will get interested in what you're doing because this person is not trying to, go with the flow and try to fit in. That's what interests people. What is it that is so different and so interesting about this person? Like, I want to learn more. Teach me about the things that you like. Maybe this conversation can ignite someone to do a meal prep business or someone that's thinking about a business. So always being yourself and being genuine about it, and always go with your intuition. Your intuition will always tell you what's right and what's wrong.
What is up, everyone? My name is Barrett, host of the Modern Founders Podcast. On today's episode, we are talking to a founder that knows how much being different matters in today's market. Today, I'm joined by Thalia Vila, founder of Resilient Meals, a Central Florida-based meal prep company built around quality, simplicity, and doing things differently in a crowded market. In this conversation, we dive into what it takes to compete against massive brands, how she found her target market, and why building a business around what you love can become your number one competitive advantage. If you're an early stage entrepreneur trying to stand out, find product market fit, and grow without losing what makes you unique, this episode is for you. And one more thing, if you could hit that like and subscribe down below, I'd really appreciate it. We're coming out with new episodes every Monday, so stay tuned, hit that subscribe. Back to the video. How does the logistics work on getting the food in that you cook and give to other people?
Well, we have, you mean for delivery or just like operations?
Operations, more where do you buy the food that you cook from?
We have different places. We have different companies. Like, since like my ingredients, I try to be like as high quality as I can. Try to bring organic. Like, I'm always like scattering like farmers around the area. It's just whatever I can find. So I build my menu based on like seasonal vegetables and stuff that I know that I can get organic. So I go to Tampa for that. Restaurant Depot has also halal meats. That's where I get my meats. And I know that I will always get them because they always have them. You know what I mean? So, but when it comes to vegetables and other things, I'm always like trying to find deals online, see where like buying seasonal vegetables is also like the cheapest way to do it because like they're in season. So you're not going to get something, for example, like green beans when they're not in season. It's going to be more expensive because, it takes more time to like harvest them and just, grow them. That's my logistics right now. Still, I mean, I'm not at the scale of like big companies like Factor or HelloFresh. They can just probably have like, hire just a farmer where they just, make their own stuff for specific. But it's just more of like a research base every month, every 2 weeks. I'm always trying to create the menu based on, seasonal ingredients.
Interesting. I was curious how it is competing with those bigger companies because all I see ads for nowadays is like a Factor and a HelloFresh. I was curious what it's like competing with those companies. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of similarities in the things that we do, but at the end of the day, I pride myself of the product that I have. It's flavorful. It's great. There are minimal ingredients. Like, people know, like Lakeland has been a great community. They love supporting local. So when there's a new restaurant or when there's someone doing something new, we'll jump on it. And on the feedback that I've gotten from, my customers and people that have actually just even like heard my stuff and haven't even tried it, they're like, oh yeah, I tried Factor, but like nothing tastes like yours, because at the end of the day, you cannot compare something that is mass produced in like these huge manufacturing kitchens when we have someone that's actually looking at everything on the business. So like, we grind our own garlic, like literally garlic cloves. Our cilantro is fresh. Like, we don't use, like, the only thing that we might be using is like taco seasoning, and it's like things that don't have any like caking agents to preserve the powders. Like, I make sure that like if I'm doing like pepper, it doesn't have any like additives, because sometimes they put like preservatives in the big like tubs. So I curate everything to as if I was eating at my own house, as if it was my mom cooking, you know what I mean? So yes, the scaling on for Factor and all those like big companies, like I can compete with them for now.
Mhm.
but I am confident on the product that I have and the community that I serve, and they know it too. So they do
Right.
let me know. So that's something that I'm really proud of.
Right, 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 that's super interesting. Are you selling mostly in Lakeland, or is it outsourced to Orlando and stuff too?
It's mostly like central Polk, I would say, like
Mhm.
Winter
Gotcha.
Haven, Arbondale,
Right.
Lakeland, all those areas. I wanted to focus myself on these like cities around here just because everyone, you go to Orlando, I've done my research on this and you see a lot of people doing the same thing that I do. Meal prep is very saturated in those areas. So here in Lakeland or Winter Haven, they don't have local meal preps like I do. Say that Orlando, like maybe they have, I don't know, I'm just going to say a name like Morris Meal Prep, you know? They will go to that person. And there's so many people doing that, that if I go there, I'm just going to be competing with so many
Right.
other little like niche meal preps. When here in Lakeland, I was like, okay, there's an opportunity here. No one's doing what I'm doing, at least in the professional way that I wanted to do. So
Right.
when people hear resilient, whenever people hear meal prep, they're like, oh, go with resilient meals because, you know, I'm the only, not only the only one that's doing this, but just the most, you know, known one to do.
Right.
And
Right.
I try to like, that was my focus. I'm like, I'm just gonna focus on a small niche that no one's, you know, even touched. And then I'm just gonna explode it here.
Interesting. What made you decide to do that? Was, like, cooking and meal prep always your kind of passion, or did you just see the opportunity and wanna go with it? Like, how did that go?
It's crazy because I used to be a server. I used to work in the restaurant industry, and that was like my first like job after like high school and then when I was going to college. And I transitioned over there like in the restaurant that I was at with like caterings and management, and I just like kind of immersed myself in the whole like restaurant kitchen industry operations. I've always been very health conscious. I danced ballet for 14 years. So I've always tried to like, you know, I had to feed myself and, you know, fuel myself. And my family has always been like really into nutrition and all that. So I started meal prepping for myself. And since I have also a passion for cooking, it wasn't just like just convenience. I was always like trying to like make it fun for myself. My coworkers, they were always like, "Oh, you should meal prep for me. That looks so good. Let's try it." And I would just, you know, make extra food and then just like if I had leftovers, I would just give it to them. But it never like everyone like pressured me all the time to be like, can you meal prep for me? Can you meal prep for me? And it's like, I just don't know how, you know, I just don't know how to charge you, what to do. Like, no, I'll just buy your groceries. And it never, but that was like kind of like the seed that, you know, was implanted in me at the beginning. And then COVID happened. I was gonna open a restaurant. It was just scheduled for inspection the same week that COVID like lockdowns happened. All my money, I was never able to open. And I was like, I don't want to do anything with, you know, restaurants and cooking anymore. This is stupid. I was traumatized. So at the time, my husband, he was a chiropractor. He passed away 6 months ago. So
Rest in
he was
peace.
yeah. He was a chiropractor and he was very into health conscious too. Like he was very into fitness. He had lost at the time 130 pounds, but he had like 30 pounds that he wanted to lose just to like trim and like look a certain way. So I was like, I have a bachelor's in nutrition and dietetics. So I was like, let me put all this knowledge on you and let me be, do you want to be my guinea pig? I'll literally calculate your macros. I'll do everything like that. Whatever I had the time, it was like, you know, COVID times and
Right.
working like 12, 10 hours. It was just crazy times. So I was like, you know what? I have the time. Let me just meal prep for you. He lost, I think he lost about like 25 pounds with me, but he put on muscle, he like trimmed, he looked insane. It was crazy, like full six pack, like big arms. And everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, how did you do this? And he said, well, exercise it's, you know, it's important. But my fiance at the time, is meal prepping for me. So I got a few of his patients. He's like, listen, there's something here. Like, well, you should do it. And I was like, I don't know, this is kind of scary. I don't know what to do. I was like, why don't you just try it? So, few of his patients, he started talking about it. He like pushed me. He's like, we wanted to do snacks at the beginning, but snacks were not like scalable enough. You would have to produce a lot of snacks to make
Yeah.
money. So I was like, maybe meal prep might be a good idea. And he like loved it. And that's when he started to push me. And yeah, he got a few friends and patients on board. Everyone loved it. I started in our apartment and kind of got out of control. And
Right.
that's when I went to Catapult and started doing, the meal prep in there. And I've been there ever since.
Are you from a entrepreneurial background or not
We've
really?
always, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. My mom has always had, her business, her own businesses. I've always seen that since I was a kid. And when I met my husband, he was so burnt out from chiropractic too. 'Cause, they work long hours, and he worked mostly for personal injury, where people are just there to just like collect money from insurance, and they don't really want to like, be there to, get.
Right.
So he was a little bit burnout from that. And then yeah, so he was like he always also had like an entrepreneurial mind. So we were always trying to find ideas. We tried to get into real estate. We tried like to get into all of these business like side quests just to see if we can like break it out of the matrix.
Mhm.
I was able to, help him with that. But he was the one that put all these systems in place. Like, I wouldn't have had this business if it wasn't for him, honestly, because I have a very entrepreneurial mindset, but I'm more of the creative part of it. It was more of the operational part of it. So it was a great like combination. So he coded a bunch of things by himself that I would have had to pay thousands of dollars for it.
Right.
I think that God always has a funny way to act, because even though, he's not here anymore, I was left out with this amazing business, and I don't really have to worry about things or how to like navigate through it, because we have systems in place, and
Mhm.
we're settled, and when it comes to operations and softwares and all that stuff. So pretty cool.
Interesting. So y'all have been around since 2020, so almost 6 years?
Um, Unofficially since 2021. And then yeah, 2021. We were, like I said, I was doing it in my apartment, but I've been at Catapult since 2022.
I'm curious how it's changed after, it's just kinda you now. Like, have you had to take over in a way? Or like you said, you had a lot of systems in place,
We
but
had a
I'm
lot of
guessing there's
systems in
still.
place. It was at the beginning, it was a little bit overwhelming. Not really, because like I don't know, like I said, God is just so like the way that he works is just crazy, because even though before he was like healthy, he was like, Talia, you need to learn how to do all of these things. Like, you don't know what could happen. I could get into an accident. Like I could literally die. We could just, not work, and like it.
Especially after COVID, right? Like, that time where everyone kinda stopped working too, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
kinda had a taste for that.
Yeah. So he's like, you need to learn how to do all these things. And at the beginning, I was just like very focused on just promoting and the creative side of the business. And I wasn't really like, because he had it handled, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't need to worry about that, because he is the one that puts up the menu. I tell him what I want to, cook that week, kind of like my assistant in a way,
Right.
because he loved operations. He was a very like, I'm not going to say like shy, but he was more of an introvert. And I was more of the extrovert. So I loved handling the people side, all of that. And then he was more into like the computer side and all the, the geeky stuff. And
Right.
he loved that. So it was a great, great, great team, because he's like, I don't want to deal with people, but I love doing all the software and all the computer stuff. And I was like, I hate dealing with the managerial stuff and computer stuff. I love dealing with people. So it was great. But him teaching me how to do all this stuff, it's pushed me also to hire and just let go a little bit of the business, just because I had a lot of control. Like I had control issues. Not, I've been working to let go, and it's amazing, and the more, like, I learn, the more I wanna keep doing it, but just, like, being able to delegate instead of controlling so much has helped me a lot to navigate this without him. That's one thing for sure that,
Right.
it pushed me to get out of my comfort zone and just not depend so much on him when it comes to, like, all the operational part. Nah, and I kinda like it now. It's, like, fun because
Interesting.
it's keeping me busy. I have a lot of things in my a lot of things to do, rather than before I was just, like, focusing on one thing. Now I have to focus on literally everything.
Interesting. So how was that for you, focusing on all of the different things? You said you
It's
like it more.
overwhelming,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but honestly, I don't see myself doing anything else with this, honestly.
Right. How big
So,
is your team now?
right now are we went from, like, 3 people to, like, 6 now, so it's
Wow,
yes,
that's a
in a
reasonable
matter
sized
of,
team.
like, 6 months.
Interesting. What made you decide to do that?
I mean, there's so much I can do. There's literally so much I can do. And then just needing to, if I'm scaling, I need to I can't just do it all myself. So companies
Right.
like Factor, HelloFresh, all these people, they're not operating themselves. Like, it's not just the owner. So right now, I hired preps and delivery people, and that's my staff. My next goal is to hire a chef, which it's gonna be a little bit hard because my recipes, and it's just something that, like, I need to find the right person to do it and that trusts and then understands the product, and then so you can just keep going, honestly.
How does it look like for the delivery, you cooking it to delivering it to somebody? How does that go?
So we get the orders in. We have a software that my husband built that calculates how many pounds of meat we need to cook, all that stuff. We cook the meals, we, sort out all the orders, and then we package them into insulated bags with ice blocks. Someone just puts them, we deliver them, and we do routes of 4 hours just to ensure freshness. Just because we don't put them in boxes, like, we have to give them to the customer, like, they know that they have to be home, or, like, be home within the hour, and then eat. And if they're not, then we have insulated bags that we can leave, or they can also purchase to, keep outside their houses. And we leave them with, like, Nordic ice, which is, like, just like an ice pack that you get, like, when you, like, get deliveries. And yeah, and then we have a route planner. I put the addresses, and then it just routes everything for me. I send them to my delivery drivers, and they just pick up the meals, and they get to every people's houses.
So, people put in, like, individual orders, or are they like is it like a subscription that they kind of pay for each month, or how does that work?
We have them both. We have a la carte, which is you can order as many meals as you like. There's no incentive for that. It's just like maybe, like, you want to try, and you don't want to commit. And then we also have subscription. Subscription gives you up to 14% discount depending on, like, how many meals you buy. Say that you're buying, like, the highest tier, then you get the highest discount, and then so on. Yeah, we have people that just want to order whenever. I have people that order every 2 weeks. They order whenever they want. So it's a good option for people that just don't feel like they want to commit, or they want to have more control of their ordering. And then we have the subscription base where, you have, like, your loyals, and they're like, if I'm going to be buying this for all this time, might as well just get a discount. You know what I mean?
So, how did you come up with kind of your business model around your food prep company? Like, I feel like the era that you started was when kind of the factors got big, you know what I mean? So how did you come up with your business model around that?
I mean, I just rode the wave. Everyone was doing it. So it's like, okay, what's the difference? Like, what makes you different from them? And it was the seed oils. We don't use any seed oils. There people are thinking about organic, and yeah, organic it's important, but also, like, minimal ingredients is also important. I was doing Factor for a little bit, and then, like, I just felt like I wasn't filling myself, like, it wasn't full. And the ingredients is just literally a whole article of just, like, random ingredients. I
I
started,
could
like,
believe it.
looking it up. They have, like, a anti-mold agent in there. I mean, why would you want your food to be, like, preserved longer? Like, I understand as of why. I mean, they're going to
Right.
be shipped and delivered, and they need to be funny. I understand. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to put anti-mold agent in my body. I don't want to do canola oil, or I don't want to do an olive oil that it's called, might be butchering this word, but it's Pomans oil, which is like cut with seed oil. It's like half canola, half olive oil. And then they put olive oil. They can say that it's olive oil, but it's really not. They cut it with other random oils, and just I was like, it's frozen. Like I don't know. It just didn't feel right. And then I was like, okay, so if I am feeling this way, I'm sure that other people are feeling the same way that I do. And that's what makes me different from them. It's like very minimal ingredients, like as if you're cooking at home. And everyone tells me I can tell the difference. It just tastes like so different. It tastes like a homemade meal. And I was like, okay, that's exactly what I want.
So if you were to move to a different place, you kind of said it a little bit about it right there. Where do you think you would try to expand to?
I would probably first stay in Florida for sure, because
Yeah.
that's
It's
where
so big, right?
it's huge. So Florida, Tampa, Orlando, Miami, but just do it in a way that in a different way. Because I'm seeing a lot of people doing, the meal prep cafes. They're doing like meal prep from like maybe, I don't know, get another kitchen somewhere in another state. I mean, in another city. But just trying to find difference from what other people are doing. What is that? I'm not sure yet. That's why it took me a little bit to figure out what I wanted to do with resilient meals as of no seed oils and minimal ingredients, because people are always promoting organic, but no one's really promoting being transparent of the ingredients that they're using. So you could use organic broccoli and you can be cooking up canola oil. So it's like, yeah, it's organic, but it's healthy, but just also educate the consumer to know that, okay, maybe what you're buying, like really think about it and really read what you're doing, like what you're buying. And over here, this is like, what we put on the label is what we have. Literally, you can see our labels is literally like rice, chicken, olive oil, fresh garlic, salt, pepper, cilantro. Like it's just stuff that you can read and you can understand.
Right.
And there are no more than 10 ingredients per meal.
And that's super interesting because as of the last 2, 3 years, you probably have heard of this before I have, but on social media, you see so much about the oils and stuff like that. So I feel like it's super interesting that you got into it kind of before it got a hot topic. And
Yeah.
now in 2026, you know what I mean? It's a super hot topic,
Yes.
like all those seed oils and stuff like that. That's super interesting.
Yes, yes, yes. It's just
Hmm.
I mean, coming from a Hispanic background, we try to be a little bit more Mediterranean. Since we have a lot of European cultures when it comes to like food, or at least my family, we've always made sure that we buy, like we always cook with olive oil. Like that's always something that my grandpa like was like, in this house, like we only cook with olive oil, and we use butter. People think that butter is bad. It's not. It's better than canola oil. It's coming from
Right.
like literally the milk of a cow. So we try to, tallow is like beef fat. It's just, it's what we, that's what our ancestors were cooking
Right.
with before. So, and look how far that, that got them. My grandpa is like 86. He can still do pull-ups, push-ups,
Right.
he runs, and that's like
Crazy.
kind of like what I strive for through nutrition, and that's kind of like what I want for my customers to eat, so they know that they are in good hands.
Right. So you talked a little bit about education. I think that's super interesting because as I've talked to more business people, education keeps getting brought up. How have you used education to show people? Is it through social media or are you going out and educating them?
Both, actually. I feel like people nowadays have a very short attention span.
Mhm.
So it's really hard to try to educate it. Used to be good with like reels. People would just, try to like put something educate and put like the captions. But
Mhm.
I try to, the way that I educate people is just through the community and embracing myself, like being the educator, but also embracing the education that I know and just leading by example. So when people ask me like, hey, what do you think about this? Then I would probably address it on a story. Just taking feedback from my day to day and what people ask me and just putting it out there rather than just, being so professional. Like, yes, my social media, I have a social media team that they put like slides and stuff, and then we try to like do reels. But at the end of the day, it's just like the brand that I've built, it's based on who I am. So I don't even need to try hard to educate people because people know who I am and what I know. And they just know that if they have a question, they just like would literally gravitate to like talk to me, which is crazy. Like I have
Right.
DMs, people asking me, hey, they go to Publix and they just like scan something and just take a picture of the like, I don't know, a product. It's like, what do you think of that? And then like I just comment or, text them or try to like get that idea from those questions and then like turn them into like a post or something like that.
Right, right, right. You talked about how you thought about opening a restaurant when you first started. Do you think that your company now is a lot more scalable and better for you than a restaurant would have been?
Yeah, well, it wasn't going to be, first of all, I didn't think of doing it. I did it. It just didn't work out because of COVID. It was just like literally I had everything. It was completely equipped, like stoves, hoods, ovens, everything was already like ready to go. Going back to your question, I think that the meal prep, it was Jesse's idea, my husband's idea to like be more like a manufacturing because it's easy, it's scalable. A restaurant could be scalable, but it could take more time because then you would have to open another location. But if you're just
So much
manufacturing,
capital that has to go into it too,
yes,
right?
yes, yes. So when it comes to meal prep company, you could scale it a little bit easier because, the meals are done online and you can just ship and just take them everywhere. You know what I mean? There's a lot more logistics, but when it comes to dealing with people, everyday operations, like this is just like 3-day operation when we do our meal preps. Yeah, but I've always wanted to have like a storefront. Always wanted to have a storefront. That's always been my goal. That's still in the back of my head. Not sure what that would look like for meal prep, but I just don't want to put like a meal prep cafe where, just go I don't know if the area that you are
I've never
in.
heard of a meal prep cafe. What is it? What do you?
They have it's just like a store, like a retail store with like a bunch of fridges. And imagine like
Mhm.
when you see all the fridges, you see
Mhm.
all the stuff like gas station, like
Right.
food stores, but they're just like full with meal prep. Full with meal prep, like plates, and then people either go pick up their food there that they have pre-ordered, or say that you missed a window or you just want to eat something healthy. Like they have microwaves, they have like little snacks. I've entertained the idea of doing that, but I just don't want to do another one of those. So
Right.
it has to be different. So that's why it's taking me a little bit of time, but that is still in the back of my head. Yes.
Interesting. You talk about being different. When you go into a new venture, is that the biggest thing you think about is how you can be different from the other people in the industry?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not gonna say weird, but I've always been like a person that has never liked what everybody wants or has. I'm always like trying to be different
Mhm.
and I always gravitates toward different things. So that's just like my nature. So when I am thinking about a product, I'm like, okay, what? No one's doing this, so I gotta do it. So if I like it, if I educate someone and make them interested in it, I'm sure that they would like it too. And it's always like spot on.
Right, interesting. Starting this podcast, I feel like I wanted to just put out what I thought was useful. Sometimes you just have to take your own intuition with it and see how people react to
Yeah.
it.
And just always be yourself. I'm sure that when you are yourself and you are unapologetically yourself, people will they might be it will get interested in what you're doing because it's like, okay, this person is not trying to, go with the flow or think a certain way and try to fit in. That's what interests people is, okay, this person is different. So what is it that is so different and so interesting about this person? Like I want to learn more. Like why does your brain work like that? Teach me about the things that you like. You know what I mean? Maybe this conversation, maybe it can ignite someone to do a meal prep business
Right,
or someone that's thinking about a business and it doesn't even have to be meal prep. So always being
exactly.
yourself and being genuine about it and not care about other people's opinion and always go with your intuition. Your intuition will always tell you what's right and what's wrong.
What was the best way you learned how to operate and do business things?
Trial and error. Trial and error. Some mistakes at this point. Meal prep is still a very niche, very small business. Like it's really hard to find like coaches. Like for example, like you can find like a real estate coach, a marketing coach, consultant,
Uh-huh.
like for all of these lead generators. Like it's so easy to find all these people. But from for meal prep, there's like no one doing this. Like, I just found someone that's doing consulting on meal prep. I'm
Interesting.
considering hiring this person. But it's like
Consulting on meal prep, what does that mean? I just have to know.
they just help you scale, and then they audit your whole business. And I mean, this person has had like meal prep experience, and they just tell you what works, what doesn't, what you should
Got you.
change. And then
Got you.
they like you're expected to like grow in sales and,
Right, right, right,
more
right, right.
customers, etc. So not having that has been hard because like I can get a business consultant, but it's like the research and the data for meal prep it's not there yet. It's
Right,
been like I don't think it has even been 20 years since meal prep has been a thing. So
definitely.
I'm just navigating through the weeds pretty much. So it's just seeing what hits, what doesn't, and making a lot of mistakes.
So what has been like one thing that has hit and one thing that has like flopped?
Believe it or not, trying to find your target audience, like your customers, you would think that this meal prep business would be, at least mine, would be ideal for gym goers and people that are like athletes. No, I was so focused on going to gyms and trying to promote there. And at the end of the day, that's not my clientele. My clientele is the
Right,
busy professional that cares about eating healthy, but not necessarily like macros and like calories and see how much
right, right,
protein we
right, right,
have and
right,
all that stuff. It's just people that just care for a good product. They don't have time to cook. They just want to eat healthy and that's it. Goodbye. You know what I mean? So
right, right,
being able to identify that has helped me a lot just because like I was so focused on going to CrossFit gyms, going to regular gyms, trying to go to health fairs and all that stuff. And it never worked. It never worked. And I was like, okay, so what's happening? Like is it my product good? Like what's going on? So I started getting people like entrepreneurs, people that work from home, busy moms, and I was able to identify my target customer. And once I did that, once like, that light bulb like just hit, I was like, okay, this is what I need to go. These are the places that I need to go, need to promote, need to target. My social media also needs to look a certain way to attract those people. I was putting a lot of gym content, but now it's just like more like, okay, maybe I get someone that works in an office and grabs a meal and then they tell them, hey, I'm a busy professional. I love, testimonials from people like that.
mhm, mhm,
Testimonies from like busy moms say like um don't have time to cook for myself. I have to cook for my husband, for my kid. But then when it comes to me, I'm tired. Like I don't wanna eat. So resilient,
right.
you know what I mean? So once I did that, I was able to bring more people just like that. And I was like, oh, okay, this is where I need to focus.
Interesting. How long did it take you to find that clientele, that target market?
Would say not long. I would say couple months, because at the end, like I was just getting a bunch of like I was getting people from like everywhere. But once I found like I mean, I still get the gym goers. I still get the like regular people that just want to like eat better. I get old people too. A lot of old people that just they're retired and they don't want to cook and they don't
Right.
want to go out and they're health conscious too. And they save a lot of money. You save a lot of money meal prepping rather than just going to the grocery store and buying a
Yeah.
bunch of random stuff and letting it rot in your fridge. So, yeah, so just having it didn't take me much. It's been a long time since I mean, it took me less than a year to figure that out, honestly.
Interesting. What would be a suggestion you had to somebody that was trying to find their target market? How do you think somebody could finding it faster?
Yeah, I feel like people like to go and read a lot and I mean, reading is important, educating yourself is important, but I feel like going into the real world, connect, get into the community, talk to people, understand people, ask questions, be yourself when it comes to these things. Like ask you a bunch of questions. What would I do? What do I like? And then just go and ask people, hey, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do for fun? What do you eat? Like doesn't have to be for food, but like on your niche, on your areas of working on your business. Say that you're on real estate, go to real estate events, network, study people, read the room. It doesn't even have to be asking questions. Like, see what they're wearing, see what they're eating, like, ask where they go to hang out, what gyms they go. And then you gather a lot of information just by analyzing people and understand and trying to understand where they come from. Take notes. It's not just like, I'm just gonna just mingle, but like be intentional and present when you are connecting with others, just because you don't know what benefit or information or knowledge you can get out of someone, and take that and then just put it together and then just make a brand out of it. Once you make a brand out of it, and just say, my thing is minimalistic luxury, good food. Normally, like, the people that are going to be buying those foods are business owners, people that had, high rank jobs, stay at home moms that, the husband maybe makes more money and they
Mhm.
have the income to buy all. So once you do that, once you get what you want, then you build a
Mhm.
brand on that.
Around it.
Yes.
Right.
You're gonna put a video, or you're not gonna do like a content of just you being in the streets or like doing a home cooked meal. I've seen a lot of people that they do work at the kitchen that I am, and they're just trying their stuff in their house, like, oh, new recipe, and then they just put it in their house. It's like, go to the kitchen, make it look more professional, go out,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
like, in the sun, where like plants, you know what I mean? Make it seem like nice. If you're like trying to do it like pretty that it's a home cooked meal, then sure. But sometimes like you have to
Right.
really understand your brand and your content and what you want the aesthetics to be. And even if they don't get much views, honestly, I don't even care about views, because views can be, you can have someone from like Europe like liking your
Right.
video. I had a video
Right.
that went viral. It was like 60,000 views. It started to get out of control. I took it down. I took it down. I was like, "No."
What platform was that on? Was it on Instagram?
Instagram, yeah. I had a lot of
Interesting.
people, like, from Europe, like, Central America. I was like, "I don't want my algorithm to, like, think that this is." No, I rather have 100 followers, and and, like, 80% of those followers buy my food, rather than have, like, 5,000 followers, 100,000 followers, and not make a sale out of it. Like, no, I took it down.
Right.
I was like, and everybody's like, "Oh, but it's going viral. It's so cool for you." And it's like, no, I'm not interested in that. I want, when someone goes into my page, it's curated, it gives the message to what I want to say, and then just have people buy it. Okay, this looks good. I know what she's doing. It's meal prep. It looks clean. It looks high quality. The price is worth it. Let's do it.
Right, I think that's a big shift that's happened in the last 3 years is from going from the vanity metrics of followers and views to, well, you could have 100K followers, but you could also make no sales with those 100K followers, so it doesn't really matter at all.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it doesn't matter. If it was up to me, like, not having social media, like, I wouldn't have it. I just care about, connecting with the customer and making sure that I deliver a good product, and if they like it, they tell their friends and their families. I feel like the best influencer is the person that buys from your product, likes it, and tells everyone around it. Because
Right,
if
right,
I
right.
have a product that I like, I tell all my friends.
The trust goes a long way. It goes back to how you were saying building education around it too.
Yes.
Education equals trust.
Yes.
How do you think that would change if you went into the restaurant industry as opposed to the meal prep industry? Do you think that would look completely different?
No, it wouldn't change a thing. Because then it'll be the same thing, but into a brick and mortar. So
Right.
me connecting with the customer, making sure that they know who I am, that I am involved in it, that I am putting a good product, that my employees are also good people, and they care about it as much as I do. I'm blessed to have employees that they absolutely love what I do, and they love my product. They wear the merch. They have stickers in their cars, even though, they're not really like needing to.
Right.
They
Right.
buy things for the business. Like, hey, I thought I saw this on Amazon and I thought it might be helpful for this. And I'm like, you thought about it. That's crazy. So like having people like
Right.
that, it's very important. And then if I was having to have a storefront, or a brick and mortar restaurant, that would be the kind of people that would be there. So even
How did you find a team that was along those lines? Because that's a very hard thing to do, build a
It
team
takes
that actually
time.
loves it.
Yeah, it
It
takes
takes
time.
time.
It takes time. It takes time and error, trial and error. Also, I go by recommendations like referrals, like, hey, listen, my friend is looking for a job. I vouch for them. And I know if I know the person that's, vouching for that person, then I'll give them a chance. So far, I haven't had, knock on wood, I haven't had a bad experience with an,
Interesting. That's super cool. I think building teams, especially for early stage entrepreneurs, is something that we don't really understand, not don't understand, but don't necessarily get how to actually go about it, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
So I think that's super interesting topic. How long did it take you to build your team of 6? You said you just hired a few, right?
Yeah, well, it was my mom and I, and then my dad comes at the end just to do like logistics and stuff. So there's two, and then the rest it was through referrals.
Interesting. So the referrals have gone a long way
Yeah,
in terms of that.
yeah.
And in terms of like people buying your product as well, right? A lot of
Yes,
it is referral
yes,
based.
yes, yes. I mean, I run
Interesting.
ads and they do well, but a big chunk of my customers come also from referral.
So was it difficult to maintain your standards in the early days? Like how did you set the standards that you wanted to go forward in your business?
Well, like I said, my business is a reflection of who I am. I've always liked high quality stuff. I've always like my fridge is pasture raised eggs, organic vegetables, grass fed meats. Everything has always been very high quality on my ends. I'm like, if I think that way, I am sure that there's a niche for it. And then same thing, it's just like it's literally who I am. Like resilient meals is the reflection of who I am as a person and who I was, what my husband was as well, because we were both very health conscious. His passing, it was just mostly like genetics. He like passed of cancer. He had a whole, history. His mom and dad's family both had cancer in the family. So that's something that, sometimes it's like inevitable. And through the whole process, he took care of himself as much as he could have. Like he didn't give in to like eating sugar or like anything like that. So to me, just leading that example and having those standards high since the beginning wasn't really hard just because that's the way that I operate, if
Mhm.
that makes any sense.
Right, no, for sure. It's like you're building a business that is for you in a instance, as opposed
Yeah,
to some people build business for the dollar sign or whatever, just to build business,
yeah.
right?
And then people get interested. People that have not had that upbringing before with like, eating healthy or like, caring for good quality stuff, they're like, oh, you've inspired me of eating better. What do you think? Like I said, like I get so many DMs, like, what do you think about this butter? Can you guide me through this? And I love it because that's who I am. So I love educating people and I get excited when people ask me these things because it's like, oh, I get to share a little piece of me in a very positive way because I can change someone's life. I can change
Right.
someone's way that they see eating. Maybe they have been buying a product that they think it's healthy, but it's, has a lot of preservatives and just because it says like sugar free or it says like gluten free, that doesn't mean that the product is healthy. Me like not having that knowledge and just sharing with friends and families and like people that are in my community just comes natural.
Right. What made you decide to actually go out with a product like your product now as opposed to a health consultant? Because it sounds like in a certain context, you're almost a health consultant to some people. What made you decide not to go down that route?
Well, my website, I have free consulting on my website. People they can schedule calls with me and they can, if they want to, like I can guide them through like the meals and what to buy and how like calculate macros. I'm very passionate about it, but I've always been more passionate about cooking. That's my passion. I absolutely love cooking. I love creating meals and even though I like to share my like what I know and advise people on what to do and what to eat, that at the end of the day, that's just my personal experience. That's just
Right.
my personal preference, and I'm just happy to share it. But what I love the most, what I absolutely love the most, is cooking. I've been cooking since I was like 6, and of course with the supervision of my grandparents and my parents, but I remember I was like about like 6, 7 when I like stepped on a stove and I made mac and cheese and I would just like make like different variations of mac and cheese and I loved it. My grandma told me, like my mom, like you were a natural. You were not scared of the fire. You just wanted to like get on it and that's what I absolutely love.
Interesting. So I'm curious if you could tell us a early day mishap or something that happened where it really sunk in that you're in this business and you're really figuring it out, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's happened so many times. It was like at the beginning, it was like logistics before we had the software that would calculate all the meals. We would have everything like done manually. Say, I don't know, for example, like 50 chicken teriyakis. You have to calculate, and we put 5 ounces of meat on each plate. So it's like times 50 divided by 16, which is like the pounds. And then you have to divide it. And sometimes like there's shrinkage. So it didn't come out to like from 5 ounces, it shrunk to like
Mhm.
3. And you're like, okay, this looks very little. Like, what do we do? Sometimes like we would be short of meals because we forgot to put an order, like, calculate an order. So I would have to make like extra meat, like take more time of my time
Mhm.
and take more time of my day to make those meals because like Miss Anna, we didn't put her in the meal prep and she bought her meals and now she's out of it was just a hot mess. Not knowing like when to buy, like what days to buy. Because like we said, like everything is fresh. So like timing the okay, so how many days can this stay
Right.
before we have to cook it? And it was a hot mess at the beginning. We would like go to bed at 6 a.m. Just trying to figure things out. And it was horrible. And like I feel bad because Jesse didn't really get to experience the easy part of it.
Right.
We had
You're
just
just in the
figured it
tough part.
Yes, we had just figured it out. I had just figured it out, like, when he was sick and he was in the hospital and, like, after he passed, it was like, "Okay, this this is the way that it's supposed to be doing." Like, we were just in the weeds. It was a hot mess, but now we have systems in place, like, we pick up the meats at a certain day of the week. We have a cut-off time, and it's just been better for sure, and it keeps getting better.
Interesting. Yeah, because I feel like specifically with food, it's low margin with high logistic type business, you know what I mean? So it's a
Yeah.
lot of moving pieces.
Yes. I've been able to keep my margins pretty low, I mean, or high, like profit-wise,
Mhm.
just because I buy in bulk and I source my ingredients for like local farmers where it's a little bit cheaper. We have deals, like I said, seasonal vegetables and stuff like that. So that's why it's been a little bit easier for me too.
All right, cool. Well, I have some rapid fire questions to end our pod out. So, did you always feel the business was a scalable business?
Yes, since the beginning, 100%.
Interesting. What makes you say 100%?
Just calculating, seeing the market, seeing the interest in people. My husband and I always knew that if there are people doing it. I have a friend that he lives in New Jersey. He has a meal prep cafe. He has a storefront. He makes 16,000 meals a day. A day, right? So it's like,
That's
okay, if
crazy.
he's doing it, why can't we do it? You know what I mean? So yeah, just
Interesting.
research.
So, what is one thing you miss from the early days of your business and one thing that you're glad you never have to do again?
What I miss from the early days is not having to do so much because Jesse isn't here.
Yeah.
He would do like pretty much like all the managerial stuff. That's something that I missed. That he was I wish he would be here. But another thing that I don't miss is going to the farmers market and trying to promote there and trying to do all these pop-ups and setting tents and cooking like little products and like little
Right.
samples for that. Like I don't miss that at all. It was great because I got a lot of customers from it, but it was just the setup. Like, waking up early to set up a tent and transporting everything. You had to load it up, load it. It was just a mess. And then on top of that, that same day we had to cook. So it was from going to the farmer's market to go cooking, like straight ahead. And it was,
On a Saturday.
yes, it was a nightmare. I was like, I'm not doing that.
So, if you were trying to build your business more, you wouldn't go that route. You would take it a different route completely, basically.
I don't think so. I would probably, it's just a matter of just going back now. I could say sure, but at that time I had no idea. So I know I don't like saying I wish I would have known this
Mhm.
because I would have done it differently. Because if you wouldn't have known that, then you wouldn't be when you are.
Right, right,
So
right, right.
I never regret the decisions that I make or dwell in the past because it has to happen in a certain way for you to grow and be where you want to go. If that, do you
No,
understand
I
what I'm
get
trying to
you.
say?
Yeah, 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 for sure.
Yes.
There's so many entrepreneurs that say that too. They would never go back to what they did
No, because
because
the
it
knowledge that I
made them the
have,
person.
yeah, the knowledge that I have right now is not the same that I would have had if I would have done differently. So,
Mhm.
and what would have been that knowledge? Would have been worse? Would have been better? I don't want to take that
Right.
risk because I know what I know.
Interesting. Okay, cool. What was the biggest investment you made that felt terrifying but paid off?
That stupid tent. The farmer's market. I thought it was gonna be so expensive because like we did it with the branding and stuff, and at the time I literally like had no money. Like I just like had just started. My husband was like, we can take money from like our savings from,
Mhm.
the like his chiropractic, because he was doing very well there. I was like, no, I want to be able to struggle. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I wanted to be from here. So like I remember my first like 2 grand. I just hurt me because like that was just like what I had, in the business
Mhm.
savings account. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this investment. I'm gonna get a tent. I got a tent. I got all the equipment that we were using because we were selling like hot food there. So like we had warmer. Like I spent all that money there. It did pay off because like a lot of those customers are still buying from here. Um,
Right.
and it's something that it, got a lot of visibility out of like I got a lot of visibility from it. So I don't regret it, but it was hard.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. What is one book or resource that completely changed how you view entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship. I'm not gonna say entrepreneurship, but just the way that I am, and it reflects a lot into the business. Completely changed my life. It's called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a neuroscience scientist. He talks about all about limiting beliefs and past trauma, how you can heal from that, how your brain works. And I feel like my favorite part of the body is the brain. And the brain is amazing. And once you get out of your head and you stop, blaming the past and just blaming like others to your behaviors and you just get out of that victim mentality, you can achieve a lot in life. So a lot of his meditations work too. He's amazing. He has all of these books, but I feel like the first one that kind of got me into the right mindset was that one.
Interesting. Yeah, mindset goes a long way for sure. So, what are some habits that made you successful in your industry, do you think?
Habits. Well, that's a good one. Habits is just being consistent, being really consistent and not thinking like every time that you think that it's not going to work and you try to pivot somewhere else, just change that thought and then just make it a habit of always believing in what you're doing. And no matter what, whether, sales are going up, sales are going down, just make it a habit of just stay positive. That's always something that I've preached.
That's super interesting. Okay, so if you could go back and tell yourself one thing to grow your business faster or bigger, what do you think it would be?
Hire delivery drivers. Hire
Were you delivering in the beginning?
Oh, yeah. I was delivering everything. I wasn't letting anyone deliver my meals because I wanted everyone to see me. I wanted
Yeah,
everyone to see me and just, be like, "Hey, thank you." And
right.
that's gonna be impossible. Like, if I wanna have a business that is having, I don't know, 50,000 customers, let's say, and it's doing all like, I don't it's just me. I only have 24 hours in a day. I cannot go visit 50,000 people, you know what I mean? So, just hire the freaking delivery drivers, Talia. That's all I would say.
Well, that's all I have. I appreciate you for coming on. This was a great podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. That was awesome.